Hi everyone. I want to start by saying happy birthday to Joshua. I hope you have a wonderful day and we can talk about it tomorrow. We have a Zoom tomorrow at 10, so please join. We're actually going to be doing our social studies during the Zoom, so you can get some of your work done early and then you can have a free afternoon. So it is Fish Week. And today I'm going to be reading to you about fish, right? What makes a fish a fish? We will be adding 2 vocabulary words to our vocabulary books, so have these out and ready. And then we will also be doing our characteristic cards. So make sure you have all your materials and let's begin. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing. There we go. So all about fish. Now there are a lot of animals that live in water. They are not all fish. We have talked about whales, which are mammals. We talked about how some amphibians start their lives in the water. When we're talking about fish, we will be talking about what you usually think of as a fish and also sharks. And then there are other animals like crabs, octopus, jellyfish. Those actually are not in the group of fish. And we'll be talking about those next week when we talk about all those animals that didn't fit into the 6 groups we focused on. So let's get started. Fish come in many shapes and sizes. They all have common traits. Let's learn about some of their traits. Okay. First, all fish live in water. They can't survive out of water. They take oxygen from the water to breathe. Now we breathe with oxygen too. We use lungs. Right? Take a big breath. Right? You just breathe in oxygen into your lungs, and then we breathe out carbon dioxide back into the air. Fish don't do that. They use gills. Fish breathe underwater using their gills. And gills are slits in the side of the body. As the water passes through their gills, it gives them oxygen to breathe. And tomorrow during our Zoom, we'll be drawing a fish and we will have to label the gills. So remember, the gills are that slit on the side of their body. I'll see if you remember that tomorrow. Fish also have a backbone. They are vertebrates. Their bodies are made up of many other bones too. Sharks are fish, but they don't have bones. Instead, their body has flexible, movable cartilage. Humans have cartilage in their nose and ears. So if you feel the top of your ear, it's not like a flap of skin, but it's not hard as bone either, right? It's kind of movable, bendable, and that is what sharks are mostly made of. However, they are still considered vertebrates. So let me show you that. Here we go. Yeah, sharks are vertebrates. They have a skeleton with a spine and a skull. They don't have bones, but it looks kind of like bones. It's just made of cartilage. So since they have that skeleton, they are still considered a vertebrate, just like the rest of fish. Okay, let's get back to reading. Sorry, I keep going back and forth. Okay. In here, in the picture, you could see the fish backbone or the fish skeleton. Okay, next is scales. Right, most fish have scales. Scales are hard and provide protection for the fish. Right, so it could be protection from predators who are trying to eat it. It could be protection from parasites, right? Little organisms in the water that might try to eat away at the fish. And it can also protect them from coral reefs, which are full of sharp rocks and pokey plants. So those scales provide protection. Now, sharks do not have scales. Instead, they have sharp denticles that cover their skin. Denticles help protect sharks and allow them to swim faster. Hard to see what a denticle looks like in that picture. So I'm going to do a quick Google search, denticles. Maybe denticles shark. Be more specific. So if you looked up at a shark really closely, you would see the skin is not super smooth like it sometimes looks. It is covered in denticles. Interesting. They're kind of like scales, but they allow them to swim faster. All right. Now, while we're on scales, let's take out our vocabulary books, because scales is one of our words. So in your vocabulary book, you'll find a new page. Now, if you're like me and you've run out of pages, you're going to use the backs of the pages. And you can make your own little word box, right? I did word. The word is scales, and I put a little box around it. And then I also made room for the definition and the sentence. So if you need to make your own page, that's fine. And in your word box, you'll write scales. And the definition is small, hard skin that covers the body of reptiles and fish. Remember, reptiles have scaly skin too. That's something that reptiles and fish have in common. Go ahead and pause if you need time to write this. I'm sure you do. And I'll move on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now for the sentence. So I wrote that scales can help protect fish from predators or from attacks from predators. You can write the same thing or something else. Scales can help protect fish from attacks from predators. I was going to make my sentence longer and include that scales can help protect from parasites and other injuries, but I figure there's not much space, so I kept it short. I changed my mind and put the period after predators. So scales can help protect fish from attacks from predators. Sorry, my writing is a little messy. Pause if you need time to write. I'm moving on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's get back to our reading. Let's see, we just read about the scales. So now we are on cold-blooded. Yeah, most fish are cold-blooded. Their body temperature is similar to their environment. So if they're in cold water, their body temperature is lower. They're like a tropical fish in warmer waters, they would have a warmer body temperature. Now, some sharks, such as the mako and great white, are partially warm-blooded. Partially warm-blooded, interesting. We will be learning about sharks later this week. We'll have a shark day. So I'm going to make a note to look that up. I wonder what that means, that they're partially warm-blooded. We'll check it out. Okay. There's always exceptions. It's interesting. There's endless things to learn about animals. Okay, so eggs. Most fish lay eggs. Sounds like there's an exception again. All right, some shark pups are born alive. Okay, something else we can look up for Shark Day. I'll make a note so we don't forget to look up which sharks are born alive. Okay, fins. Fish have fins on the top, bottom, back, and sides of their bodies. Now, fins look a little different depending on the fish. Tomorrow, we're going to be drawing a fish and labeling all their parts. And you'll see that each fin has a different name. The one on their back, right on their top, is called the dorsal fin. The one on the very end is the caudal fin. And then they usually have a pectoral fin, a pelvic fin, and an anal fin as well. So we will take a closer look at those tomorrow. And then, it says, would you like to study fish? A scientist that studies fish is called an ichthyologist. I've never heard of an ichthyologist, have you? That would be a very cool job. All right, so we do have one more word to add. It wasn't in the reading. It is school. And this isn't the type of school we go to. This is a group of fish. So a lot of times fish will swim in a school to make them look like a bigger animal, and they all move in the same way. They coordinate their movements, and they're all spread out the same distance apart. It's very cool to see, and sometimes it can help scare predators away. Fish are a lot safer. They swim in a school than if they're all by themselves. So in your word box, you'll write school. And the definition is a group of fish. It's a short one. I'm going to move on to the sentence in 3, 2, 1. And for my sentence, I wrote, fish swim in schools to better protect themselves from predators. So let me get it just right, and then you can pause. Okay, go ahead and pause. You can write your sentence. I'm moving on in 3, 2, 1. And that's it for the vocabulary. You can close your book, put it away somewhere safe. Take out your classification cards now. Okay, in your cards, I want you to find fish. I still need to color mine. But you can see the fins on this fish. Remember, the top one is called the dorsal fin. And this one back here is called the caudal fin. The ones on the sides, it depends on the fish and their placement. But these would probably be the pelvic fins, if I had to guess. You can help me tomorrow when we label our fins. Okay. So we're going to have 5 characteristics. So you're going to have to change the numbering a little bit. Right? We'll have 1. The first one's long, so you will need 2 lines. But then the rest you can do 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So go ahead, get your numbering ready. And then I'll show you the poster. Yeah, so number 1, you need 2 lines. Then 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And then these are the first 4 characteristics of a fish. Yeah. They breathe underwater using gills. They lay eggs. They are cold-blooded. They have scales and fins. And I bet you can guess what number 5 is. What do you think? We've been adding it almost every week. Vertebrates. Yeah. So they do have a backbone, even though, remember, sharks' backbones are a little different. They're made of cartilage, like our ears and nose. Okay, go ahead and pause so you can write these and then add vertebrates. If you don't know how to spell it, it is the first word in your vocabulary book, and it should be on other pages of your classification cards. And I'm going to take this down in 3 seconds, so pause if you haven't already. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's it for today. Remember, tomorrow we are Zooming at 10. We'll be drawing a fish, labeling it, talking about its habitat, and then we'll also get to share mystery bags. So in the lesson plan today, in your journal, you got to write out your clues. Make sure you take a picture of your journal and upload it on Class Dojo under the Portfolio tab, and it's called Mystery Bag Clues. That way I can take a look at them and yeah, practice reading them out loud in a clear voice. I know it's hard on video, but we'll try to do it in small groups so it won't be in front of everyone. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's in your bags, and I really hope to see you tomorrow. Just make sure you bring your mystery bag. You'll also need a blank piece of paper for drawing our fish and your journal. So if you could have those 3 things ready to go, oh, and a pencil, that would make things go a lot smoother. So I'll say those things again. Your mystery bag, a blank piece of paper, your journal, and then something to write and draw with. So you may want crayons too. If you just have a pencil, that's fine. But you might want to add color to your fish. So have those things ready, and if you still have time today, and you should, this was a shorter video, you can go on to our class typing club, So I think it's kittredge.typingclub.com. The link's on Class Dojo. And then log into your own individual accounts and keep practicing. All right, everyone, have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.